Hello, this is Debbie, and this is Light Up Your Worth. I am so excited this week to bring you my guest, Vanessa Karel. She is a second-time founder, serial entrepreneur, storyteller, and creative producer. She was named one of the top 100 rising Latino startups for founders to watch through her work founding GreetHer, a travel startup that helps women travel safer. GreetHer was selected to enter Expedia's accelerated program for creating more accessible and sustainable tourisms for travelers. And I am so excited to have you here, Vanessa.
Thank you, Debbie. Such a great welcoming. I'm really excited to chat today.
I am too. I'm a big component of women, especially women traveling for education and empowerment. And this great problem you're solving with women in travel with GreetHer.
Yeah, so really excited to talk more about Greet Her and the way that our mission is to help women travel with fewer risks around the
Mhm,
world. And I
mhm,
agree with you. I think traveling can be so empowering as a man, as a woman, but especially as a woman or as a female identified person, just because it gives you so much confidence. And I also love the fact that it teaches you about the things that you really and the things you
mhm,
don't like. It's a great opportunity for you to learn that you can provide joy to yourself on your own
mm.
and that you're capable of doing that and you're capable of making new friendships and exploring new cultures. I think that's what is so exciting about traveling and seeing so much rise of in the market of solo female travelers and how great of a movement that's becoming.
It is. It is super exciting because I talk to my friends, and the majority of the podcast listeners are either close to or over 40, traveling in your 40s, 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s. It is so empowering to be immersed into a location, really feel like you got to know the people versus being a tourist. And having somebody on site who really knows. So you're not going to go to that restaurant that everybody's going to, that you're actually going to get a taste of the friendliness of all the different cultures and opportunities. And so I wanted to learn what makes Greeter unique in the marketplace to help fill this big need I think that we have as women.
Yes, absolutely. I'll go back to my story a little bit. It was 2020, and I had the opportunity to have you remember all the chaos that was happening in the pandemic with travel.
Hmm.
I had a work permit to enter Morocco, and I made it to Morocco when everything was banned. But even though I've traveled before solo, this was the first time where I felt more vulnerable and I realized that there was not a service that could help me. And so basically, I got stranded at an airport where I was not supposed to be in. And what happened was that the only thing I could think of was let me look through my contacts and see if I know someone here or if I know someone who may know someone here who can help me. I just wanted a kind of like buddy, text buddy to be like, hey, should I take a taxi? Should I book my hotel in this neighborhood? I had all these questions about how I was going to be able to navigate the country.
Hmm.
I couldn't find anybody. I went to Google and I was like, Google, do you have a service like this for female travelers? Google didn't have anything. When I came back, I decided to create something about it. I was really inspired and motivated because I started doing a lot of research and writing a book about the power of female travel and especially all my adventures I had through the pandemic travel that I was encountering. I realized a lot of women resonated with the problem I was facing, feeling unsafe as a female traveler. That was the moment where I realized that all my previous travel experiences had been to places where I felt more comfortable going to. But that doesn't mean you want to go to places like Egypt or Bolivia. I was waiting for my friends to be ready, for Prince Charming to come around, for my friends to have money, etc. And I was like, enough. I want to be able to make my own rules. I want to be able to go wherever I want, whenever I want, and feel I have a resource. Anyways, long story short, I created GreetHer as a platform that connects female identified travelers to verified local women who you can book. So everybody, everywhere you're traveling to, you have someone you can trust and is connected to you before your trip. You can ask questions. When you arrive to your destination, she meets you for the time you book her. But not just that, when you're booking her, you're also telling her what type of interests you have. Because as we mentioned, Debbie, earlier today, we're all different travelers. We're all into different things. So your greeter can propose a plan. My favorite part about GreetHer is not just that, it's that every time you're using our services, you're generating income for women in the places you're traveling to. So it's like a win situation because not only are you traveling more confidently, but you're also supporting and closing the gender gap in tourism for women and creating job opportunities for them. So it is really fascinating to see now what has come out of what one day was super stressful and to see people using GreetHer for their travels.
Is a powerful story on how it has been birthed through you to be able to create. I think everybody comes to a point where you want to travel and you're looking around and people are either they're coupled and they want to travel with their partner, or they don't have the funds, or they don't have the time. In fact, I've been having recent conversations with friends about where a couple destinations I want to go to, and maybe we can coordinate this in the following year, right? And I'm finding that it is really challenging. And also, do you travel with somebody who's compatible? Because somebody else might be available, but you're like, you just may not be compatible, which can happen even with good friends when everything else lines up. And we're at this point in our lives where we're like, I don't want to wait. Who do you find is your biggest demographics of the women travelers, and where are they currently wanting to go the most?
Yeah, it's changed since I started. I'm a millennial in my early 30s. And when I started it, I had just turned 30. And so I was envisioning our user would be mainly millennials, right? I was like, they're going to be women like me. It is a big portion. But last year, we received a lot of press. And some of that press was in news outlets. Who's watching the news? Is more senior travelers, right? They weren't finding us on social media. We started getting bookings from women in their 60s, in their 70s, almost 80 years old, female travelers. So exciting to see that a lot of them had never traveled solo and they found GreetHer and they were like, okay, I can do this now. This is what I was waiting for. It's been really empowering to see. We have one of our most amazing travelers who just keeps coming back to us. She just books her greeter for a few days in a row. She loves museums and she literally just wants a greeter to come to museums with her to feel less lonely. And she has some mobility issues, so she likes having a greeter who can help her navigate the metro station if she's in Paris or the buses if she's in Amsterdam. That's been really exciting to see. Currently, our most booked country is Italy, but we do have bookings in all parts of the world. We have our first traveler going to Cambodia in a few weeks. We have travelers who go to Japan, Mexico, Iceland. So it's not just about the safety aspect. I think like what women are finding super valuable about GreetHer is to have someone as a local show you their local gems. So I think that's been really surprising and exciting as well, because it's like a great way to immerse yourself in the culture. As we mentioned, Debbie, you and I are apparently good foodies as well. I love food as well. So we have the occasional traveler who's I'm a vegan and I want to find the best vegan restaurants in the city, or like that I'm visiting in Istanbul, or like vegan tacos in Tulum. So it really is like a way to have, we call it your local best friend wherever you're traveling to. So we make it sound like that because it is different from regular tour guides. When you book a regular tour, which is great as well, they give you a history, meet at the square at 3 p.m. for 2.5 hours and tell you the same speech that if you go tomorrow and I'll go today, they'll give us the same speech, right? With GreetHer, everything's personalized to you. So maybe, Debbie, you're like, hey, I love going to bookstores and I love going to thrift stores. I don't know, maybe. So you can tell us what you're interested in doing, and the greeter can tailor it to you. So that's how different we are from a regular tour. Also, you tell us where to meet you. Your greeter can meet you even at airports or outside your hotel. Most of the time, travelers are like, "Can you just meet me outside of the Airbnb or Hilton at 4 p.m. for 4 hours?" It's like your personal concierge slash friend who's ready to
Mhm.
show you. The trends that I'm seeing is that more and more senior travelers are taking the plunge. They have money, freedom, but they may lack a little bit of confidence. And that's where we come in. But they have such a sense of wanderlust and they still want to explore. And they're not doing low-key travel. They're still wanting to do cool things.
Mhm.
So it's been really fascinating to learn about these demographic of travelers.
Yes, it is. On one of my trips, I was in China and we were preparing for, I was given a workshop and needed some supplies. And so I went with my corporate American Express, right? Thinking, oh, you can use that everywhere. You go into the shop, you find out that, oh no, they only take local currency, right?
Oh, God.
So then I have to find an ATM. Finding local currency is great. Help you figure out, right, in the safe neighborhoods, because you don't want to go where you're going to run into any issues. And then to go back, end up spending an extra probably 90 minutes trying to get to be prepared to get something that wasn't much, or you want to find local bookstores. Oh yes, bookie here. And
Ah,
or
I saw that.
yeah, I'm a huge book reader and I love to find bookstores and local places to eat as a foodie. You'd want to know that without going to everything on everybody's website. Maybe it was the best place 5 years ago, but now it's been inundated and you would like to support perhaps a local family's restaurant
Yes.
whose food is just as good. You want your local person to do that. I really love this idea of being able to go off and do that. I was just on your website and I was looking for Scotland because I need to book a trip to Scotland and Ireland. Um,
Yes.
you have great places to travel. I like that you walked us through too what to expect when you travel. When you book your services, are they for a day or by hour?
You select the time you want your greeter to physically give you a tour on the day. Let's say you're traveling to Vietnam next week, and
Mhm.
you're like, when I arrive on Tuesday, I want someone to show me for 4 hours and meet me outside of the Hilton hotel that I'm staying. And so you're connected to her before your trip. So you can ask her, like, hey, you think it's better if I take a taxi or public transportation to get to my hotel? And then she meets you at the time you ask her to meet you, and then she gives you the tour that you already two agreed on through the chat, and you take off. And but she's still available to you after your meetup if you have questions. Like, I see a lot of travelers like, hey, the next day they're like, actually I want to go find a skirt, or I need to, I don't know, whatever it is that travelers are into.
Mhm.
And then they can still ask her, or do you recommend a place to salsa dancing in this city? And greeters are still available. I see value in having repeated experiences as well to visit different parts of the city you're visiting.
Mm.
So I think sometimes long tours can be really exhausting, with especially group tours or like tour guides who are telling you all this history and you're learning so much. But in this way, it's more like you have a friend walking you through places, and
Mhm.
it's at your own pace. Prices vary according to the destination,
Mhm.
the number of travelers, and the city. So it really depends. If you're traveling to Iceland, maybe a tour of 4 hours is going to cost you $100, but the same tour maybe in Mexico City will cost you 80 or something like that. It
Mhm.
depends on the place you're visiting and travelers you have. Right now, we allow up to 6 travelers going together. So let's say you and your girlfriends are like, hey, let's go on a trip to Guatemala or Peru. And then you
Mhm.
can make a booking for all of you, and the value is there. There's great value for what you get if you compare it to regular tour guiding experiences.
Yeah, and it still gives you that flexibility, it sounds like too, and being affordable option for women to be able to go out there and do that. And if they want to then jump on some tour bus with
Yeah,
200 people, they can.
Exactly.
coordinate both types of experiences.
Yeah, and sometimes you're on a long layover and you're like,
Mhm.
I don't know if I have enough time to go explore because what if I get lost? What if something? So we've had travelers who like are on a long layover and they're like, can I have my greeter meet me at the airport and then show me around quickly and then go back? And they do. And I see this is like such a great thing because sometimes you see long layovers, but the flight is cheaper. And you're like, what am I gonna do for 6 or 8 hours? Now you could have someone who like greets you and then like literally dedicates their time for you not to get lost and find the gems. Because sometimes you could
Mhm.
go on your own maybe, but you'll get lost or tourist traps.
Mhm. I could
And
have used that when I'm flying to Asia because
yeah,
you always ended up going through Narita in
Japan.
Japan for 6, 8 hours, exactly
Yeah.
what you said. And you're like, okay,
Now what?
now what? Okay, you might keep busy for an hour. You end up working in the airport. You could have escaped, right? And then come back and at least seen something or at least get a better meal.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I don't know about you, but I think when you travel solo, you find out so much about who you are. And you really learn to appreciate comforts that you have back home too. And so tomorrow is the World Tourism Day, and the theme is peace, global peace through tourism. And I think that through GreetHer, we really tackle that because I think one of the best ways to tackle all of our issues that we have as a world is to provide each other perspective, cultural perspectives.
Mhm.
And what we're seeing with GreetHer is that we're connecting cultures, we're making friendships, which maybe to our investors not exciting to hear that our travelers and our greeters are becoming friends. But
Yeah.
it's great. To me, it's a great outcome. To me, that's a win because if you have a great experience as a traveler, I know that you'll come back and try us in another place. I know you'll tell your friends about it. It's a powerful movement of
Mhm.
women empowerment.
It really is. When I would travel extensively when I worked in the tech industry, I frequently had to go to the Philippines.
Yeah.
And they assigned you a driver slash, I want to say security, right? They were there to watch over you, pick you up. And because I would go frequently, I got to know this guy. I really want to go to Green Hills Shopping Center in Manila. You can get beautiful knockoff purses and stuff like that,
Hey,
right?
no.
And really cool, unique jewelry and local stuff. There was a way to go shopping to save money there in the Philippines in open markets. You could ask if they've had any sales. And if they haven't, they have to give you a first sale discount.
No way.
Yep.
How do you know they're not lying?
I would have a local with me, right? He was walking around with me. And if somebody said they would look at him like, how does she know this? It's because I come here a lot and I buy a lot of purses and I
That's
like purses, but I didn't want to go spend $400 plus on a purse. And they would look at him and he would talk to them in their local language and I would get my discount. And
yeah,
then I learned how to negotiate, but you don't learn that stuff the
no.
right way, respectfully, honoring the different cultures without having somebody local who lives there.
Yeah.
It's powerful to have that opportunity. I'm excited for Greet Her to become a new way for people to really empower themselves because traveling really changed my life. That
Yeah.
first time back from Amsterdam or Singapore were my first two destinations outside of Mexico. It was life changing. You really do start to appreciate the differences between other cultures. And I think you get to understand why somebody will ask you something differently, and you may not understand it if you've never left the States. But
Yeah.
our listeners are global. We have a huge base in Europe as well as Canada, and it's been really powerful to watch people go on their trips and how it changes them.
Yes,
So,
it is. And I think even though we do group travel, I really encourage anybody who can afford to have a solo trip I want my mom to do it. I want my aunts to do it. I want my
Yeah.
girlfriends to do it. My
Mhm.
little sister began solo traveling after I made GreetHer, and I was so peaceful knowing she was gonna have a greeter greeting her, and it helped me cure heartbreaks, soul
Mhm.
searching. It made me literally create a career path, like solo traveling. It made me who I am today as an entrepreneur, and all these achievements we have done with GreetHer and creating social impact. I wouldn't have done it if wouldn't have taken that step and being like, I'm going on that trip. And everybody was looking at me funny because I started before the huge trend of wave, I think, like solo traveling when I was 17. And it wasn't popular as it is today. It was
Mhm.
not. And I remember the first time I told my parents, I'm gonna go spend my birthday on a solo trip. And they looked at me like, oh my gosh, she needs therapy. She okay? She needs a boyfriend. Like, also, I'm Mexican heritage. So, like, for Mexican parents, what is wrong with her? And
Yes.
so there's so much stereotypes that we as women have to face constantly. Can we travel solo? Oh my God, there's something wrong with her. No, there's not. We're empowered, we're independent, we can do this, and we do
Mhm.
have fun. We don't get lonely. Part of it. It's good to get nostalgic and appreciate people back home. Or sometimes you get nostalgic because you're traveling solo and you might spend a few more minutes writing someone a thoughtful message or not. Who knows? But I
Mhm.
think that I'm so happy that this is becoming a trend because of what it means for women empowerment
Mhm.
and women feeling confident is scaring a lot of people because
Mhm.
it's about time that we're going and doing all these things on our own or with our travelers friends. But I think that I just advocate for it so much.
So do I. I've really have enjoyed the trips that I've made internationally outside of the US and navigating through. My most memorable one was in Hong Kong, which is so easy because there's so much English everywhere, getting on the trains and the buses, etc. And the people that you meet is different than when you're traveling with a group. You
Yes.
will find other travelers. Have you noticed that when you've done your traveling and
I meet many more people when I'm traveling solo.
mm,
Controversial maybe, but I am married. And one of the first things that I told my now husband when we started dating was, I will be your girlfriend as long as you're okay with me traveling. It took me a day to come to terms with it. Right now, I want you to travel with me. You have a perfect travel buddy, which he is. And it's so important to have that solo time for me
Mhm,
to have that space. And also, it's great to come back with adventures and stories to tell them, your partners. And I meet so many more people than when I travel with him because you
mhm,
stay in that bubble. If it's with your partner or significant other or family, you don't really venture out. But when you're traveling solo, you have to socialize. You have to ask for help. You have to, like, you're maybe having to sit alone at a restaurant and someone's next to you alone as well. You end up having a conversation. And I've made so
mhm,
many amazing friends like that, like the best stories ever. And actually, last year I went to travel and work from Estonia for my solo trip of the year last year. And my greeter, Yumna, she is Pakistani but lives in Estonia. And she was my greeter and amazing. She showed me around Tallinn and I loved the experience. And then at the end, she was like, by the way, tomorrow I'm hosting my friends for a graduation party because she was graduating from college
mhm,
when I come over. And I was like, sure, why not? And I came over and they treated me like I was the special guest. And I had this
mhm,
incredible meal and that I share like Pakistani meal with them in Estonia. I have this memory of my trip to Estonia, knowing how warm Pakistani culture is. These are
mhm.
things I wouldn't have done with friends or my partner. I call it travel magic. That's what I call. I
Ooh.
think it's those moments that happen when you're traveling, those crossing paths with people like the locals,
Mhm.
the cultures that intersect where you're like find the commonality and some warmth. It's like sparks. And I think that's what we're creating at GreetHer, enabling travel magic.
I love travel magic. Then your story about Estonia and the party and being able to meet people. I had something really similar when I was out couple probably 3.5 hours out of Manila in the Philippines and ended up getting invited to go scuba diving.
Oh, wow.
I found a resort that was on literally on the water. You wake up and it's right there. And
Well,
all these people, their friends came. We went out on a boat and I had the most amazing time. And then we all walked over to this really like ma and pa food that was like family style
yeah,
of Filipino food that I hadn't tried. And granted, I have had a lot of Filipino food, but it was cooked different because of the region that we were in,
right.
and it was incredible. I highly encourage everybody to get out and travel. It's so empowering, and the people you will meet will change your lives in a
Absolutely.
positive way.
And
Um,
memories last forever, hopefully. And I
yeah.
think money goes and comes, but like these experiences are like worth it all. And you remember every time you remember that experience, it gives you warmth. Also, not having a trip scheduled soon, how do you find motivation?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to always have my password that had
Ready?
something to do with the word travel in it. Like, where's my next trip?
Exactly.
So I love all of this. Vanessa, I want to ask you, there's two questions I like to ask all of my guests. One is to keep you inspired to create or lift you up. What's a song that you will put on that will really inspire you and uplift you?
There's this song by a Colombian band called Monsieur Periné that the song title is called Tu m'as promis, and actually it's in French, which is weird, Colombian. And what it means is you promised to me. And I love the tune. And what I loved about the lyrics is I feel like it's a love song to myself. It's almost like you promised me we're gonna have fun. You promised me we're gonna enjoy the sun, we're gonna enjoy dancing. And it goes through different beats, but it starts melancholic, but it starts like a party mode in the middle. And every
Hmm.
time I listen to it, I just want to dance to it. So I really recommend it. But I love that one.
Oh, I love that. I can't wait to get that. And listen, we're adding on the YouTube podcast playlist, and it's a whole genres of different music, different songs.
I love
It,
that. I like this
oh,
song because it has not just French, but Spanish. And I think I like the cross-culture connection. It identifies with me. I don't think I belong to one specific place. I belong to many places where I felt at home. And I think
mhm.
that's maybe something that I enjoy about it.
Oh, that's extra special. Yeah, feeling at home when you're traveling to and cultures. Oh, beautiful. The second question is from where you are now, so at this season in your life, if you could go back and talk to your younger self about the worth that she has, what would you tell her? And
Yeah,
what
I think I would say you're right about not ignoring how much potential you have. I felt like a lot of the times at jobs I had in tech and corporate world, or like even before that, I don't think that maybe necessarily the environments were seeing how much potential I had, but I always knew I had it and I believed in it and I still believe in it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have built GreetHer. And it might sound cocky, but I think I really feel like that's what's pushed me further with GreetHer, having to know your worth, you're capable, and can make mistakes, you're worth it. You're worth trying for.
you are inherently worthy when we step into our worth. Our light shines through us with abundance. And
Yes,
abundance is different. It could be that you now have abundance to travel, you have joy, love. It shows in so many ways.
absolutely. I think having something to look forward to and something that motivates you every day, it's so worth it.
Hmm. Vanessa, how can people reach you and Greeter?
So GreetHer is available as a website. You can find us at greether.com. And on Instagram is the same, is greet.her. And our emails are open, info@greether.com. If you have any questions, on LinkedIn as Vanessa Karel, you can find me. If you have anything that you want to ask me, or you want my opinion, or like you want to learn more about how you can be part of GreetHer, just reach out. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Vanessa, for taking the time out of your world.
Thank
And
you.
you're in the States to talk to right now. And I appreciate your time and so happy that you were able to join us today.
Likewise, thank you so much, everyone.